There's also a lot of native agencies that have representatives that are NGOs. For example, Native Americans have an office at the United Nations. Australian Aborigines. There's a lot of different organizations that you can think of. Greenpeace, the World Wildlife Fund. These are all agencies that have offices and work with the United Nations in pursuit of their goals.
So McDonald's is an office in the United Nations?
No, they're not certified. But they have just as an important effect in the United Nations. If McDonald's is in a lot of countries. They bring in a lot of money economically to a lot of countries. They have a lot of money to spend in these countries. So they become very important, even though they're not certified and have an office at the UN. They're very important to a lot of these countries and wield a lot of authority and power.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to wait from this for a second, because I have a group activity I want you all to work on for about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. I want you to get in groups of about 2 or 3. The instances we've talked of international cooperation throughout history and the United Nations, I want you to do 2 things. I want you to find 1 or 2 differences between each of those efforts in the United Nations, and 1 or 2 similarities between each of those efforts in the United Nations. So who can give me a rundown of what those efforts were prior to the United Nations? The League of Nations. Chris, you said something, I couldn't hear you. Empire. Treaties of alliance. Concerts or congresses. 1 more. Religious unification. So has everybody got those? Okay, get in your groups real briefly. Try to come up with a similarity and difference between 1 or more of those and the United Nations. Does that make sense, everybody?
Are we putting these in our notebook, or are we like turning it?
Well, in a few minutes we're going to put them on the board.
Okay. You're in chapter 18. It's like 20.
Yes, ma'am.
What chapter is it?
Chapter 19.
19?
In your edition it's 21.
Okay.
But yeah, this is stuff. I got mine ordered from the 5th edition. So 21.
Okay.
Any ideas? What we're wanting to do? We're in different ways. Nations cooperate. What's the same between what is going on in the nations and treaties?
They don't have to make sense to do.
It makes sense to her.
There's one similarity. It also involves a treaty. What's the difference between a treaty and the
Yes, that was his name. It was
talk and think about what the difference between a treaty and the United Nations.
yeah.